Okay, students, we're going to go ahead and go over the expectations and instructions to complete your speed practice problems. So go ahead and have that out in front of you, and let's get started. So we're going to look at the instructions first, and we're going to look at what do the following units represent. We're going to use D for distance, T for time, S for speed, and V for velocity. Okay, I also highly suggest that after you fill this out and throughout the front and back of this sheet, that you designate a highlighter color for each of the different units. So for distance, maybe it'd be pink. T for time would be green. S would be yellow, and V would be a different color. And you guys will start to see a pattern there a little bit. Again, remind ourselves that the difference between speed and velocity is pretty much just one factor. Speed, again, is the equation is distance divided by time. Velocity is also distance divided by time, but velocity also has a direction, okay? So let's go ahead and start to look at this. Number one, we have 14 kilometers. So is kilometers a unit for distance, time, speed, or velocity? Go ahead and fill that one in. So if I have kilometers, I'm going to go ahead and have distance. Okay, 6 hours. Hours is a unit for time. And if I have 14 kilometers per hour north, what do you guys think it is? So if I have not only kilometers per hour, but I have a north, which is a direction, that one is going to be velocity. Now, if I only had 14 kilometers per hour, what would that be? 14 kilometers per hour would just be speed. Okay, so you're going to go ahead and fill out 1 through 12, demonstrating what unit it represents, okay, whether it's distance, time, speed, or velocity. When we get to our word problems down here, the expectation that we have is that you're going to be showing 3 steps of your work. Okay, so our speed practice problems, you're going to be using the formula that speed equals distance over time. And the 3 steps of your work, if you need more space, go ahead, get out a separate piece of paper or do it in your spiral, glue this right next to it. Okay, so your 3 steps of work is going to be 1, you need to write your equation. Okay, 2, you need to show your work, which you should be always doing anyway. And then 3, you need a boxed answer, and you also need to have units. You will not get credit for anything in the force and motion unit if you do not include your units. They're very important. Okay, the other thing that's cool with your units is that it can be used to check your work. Since distance has specific units, time has specific units, and speed and velocity have specific units, you can discover through calculating the question or the answer that you're correct or not depending on the units that you have. Okay, and I'll show you guys that. So our first question, we have an airplane traveled at 400 miles per hour. The distance from San Francisco Airport to JFK Airport in New York is roughly 2,500 miles. How long will it take to get to New York from San Francisco? Let me zoom in a little bit. Okay, how long will it take? So the first thing I want to do is I want to list what I have. Okay, so it traveled 400 miles per hour. Miles per hour is going to be representing what? Speed. Okay, we have 400 miles per hour. Okay, now you want to put MI for miles because what is an M representing? Meters, right? So MI is going to be miles. And you don't necessarily want to put MPH, and I'll show you why, because when we're doing the math with it, again, the units follow your number. The units, you should consider this entire thing part of what the speed is. It's not just 400. 400 is a number. 400 miles per hour is the speed. Our next piece of information that we have is 2,500 miles. Miles is a measurement of distance. And then therefore, that means we're going to be finding time. Okay. Now, I encourage you on almost every single piece of paper that we're going to be working on in your notebook, in your spiral, to write your triangle that you learned from your notes. And we're going to have speed, distance, time. Now, I didn't draw it very big. I want to keep it on the screen for you guys, but you want to make sure, draw this anywhere, everywhere, multiple times. Okay. That way you always have it. And remember, if I want to find, say, for example, speed, I would cover up the S and my equation would be distance divided by time. Okay. If I wanted to do time, distance divided by speed, and then distance would be speed times time. Okay, so I have my information here. Now I want to write my equation. My equation is going to be distance divided by speed. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do time. Distance is 2,500 miles divided by 400 miles per hour. Okay. Then what you're going to have over here, you're going to go ahead and write your answer. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. I don't have my calculator here. I'm going to do it right here instead of having to do that in my head. 2,500 divided by 400 is going to be 6.25. You are not finished yet. 6.25 what? Units. 6.25 hours. Box your answer. Okay? That is an example on how to complete the rest of this paper, front and back, with your 3 steps of your work. Okay? For those who are interested, or if this helps you guys a little bit, what I'm talking about with units, how it helps you decide that you're doing the correct equation, that you get the correct answer. Because if I have miles and it's divided by miles per hour, this one's not the best example, but if I had this equation, I would have to take this and multiply it by the reciprocal. So it would be miles over 1 times hours over miles. The miles cross out and you are left with hours. That's how your units can help you, because if I am looking for time, my unit better end up being a time unit. If it's not, that might mean that, oh, I flipped something or divided when I should have multiplied. Okay, so let's look at one more. If I have an Amtrak train, it travels at 97 kilometers per hour. If Jenny rides on a train for 7 hours, how far will she travel? Okay, so let's list what I have. 97 kilometers per hour, that's going to be speed. Ooh, we're given speed again. 97 kilometers per hour. And remember, the difference between speed and velocity is just that velocity has a direction. Okay, we don't know which direction Amtrak is traveling. So let's see. 7 hours, time is 7 hours. And then we are then looking for distance. And again, how far is distance? I'm going to demonstrate what equation I'm using. And again, reference this. Distance is going to be speed times time. And then I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Distance is 97 kilometers per hour. Don't forget your unit. Times 7 hours. And we're going to go ahead and have distance equals, again, I'm getting my calculator, 97 times 7. We got 679. Units for distance, it's going to be those kilometers. Box your answers. Answer. And again, check out your units. If I have kilometers over hours times hour over 1, your hours cross out, you end up with kilometers. You do not need to do this for every problem, students. I'm just showing you how you can prove that, oh, wait, look, I did it correctly because my units work out. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me or raise your hand if I'm there. And then please go ahead and complete number 3 through 9, and also make sure you have 1 through 12 complete. Have fun!